Wilhelm II and his first wife Augusta Victoria of Schleswig-Holstein were married from the 27th of February 1881 until her death on the 11th of April 1921. During this 40-year marriage they had 7 children, 6 sons and 1 daughter: Wilhelm, Eitel Friedrich, Adalbert, August Wilhelm, Oskar, Joachim and Viktoria Luise. The last German crown prince was born on the 6th of May 1882 and was named Wilhelm. He was born during the reign of his great-grandfather Wilhelm I. Wilhelm grew up with 6 siblings, the youngest being Viktoria Luise, who was born when he was 10 years old. Wilhelm's first name was Friedrich, which was both of his grandfather's names. It was expected that he would be called Fritz, as it was a common nickname for Friedrich. When it was announced that he would go by Wilhelm instead, this did not go unnoticed by his grandmother, Victoria, Princess Royal, and his great-grandmother, Queen Victoria of the United Kingdom. Wilhelm and his siblings were kept away from their grandmother Victoria, as both Wilhelm's parents, Wilhelm and Augusta Victoria, disliked her. When Wilhelm was 6 years old, his father became the German Emperor and King of Prussia as Wilhelm II. Wilhelm was then known as the German Crown Prince and Crown Prince of Prussia. Wilhelm attended school in Plön and later the University of Bonn. Wilhelm was a notorious womanizer and had a number of affairs at the same time throughout his life. Wilhelm's father despised this and had Wilhelm banished from court at one point to ease the gossip. Among Wilhelm's many alleged mistresses were American opera singer Geraldine Farrar and Mata Hari, a dancer and World War I spy. Wilhelm spent most of his time in Danzig, playing tennis, carrying on affairs and playing football, a new sport in Europe at the time. He would also often speak out publicly against his father, which did not improve the relationship between the father and son. Wilhelm's father selected Duchess Cecily of Mecklenburg-Schwerin, the daughter of Friedrich Franz III, Grand Duke of Mecklenburg-Schwerin, and Grand Duchess Anastasia Mikhailovna of Russia, as the wife of Wilhelm. They had met during the wedding of Cecily's brother in 1904 and were married the next year on the 6th of June 1905 in Berlin. While Wilhelm did take an interest in her at first, he soon resumed his womanizing. They had 6 children together: Wilhelm, Louis Ferdinand, Hubertus, Friedrich George, Alexandrine and Cecily. Their eldest daughter, Princess Alexandrine, had Down syndrome. Unlike most royal children with a disability at the time, Alexandrine was not separated from the family, nor was her education neglected. She appeared in most family photographs and attended a special school for girls with learning difficulties. Wilhelm had little interest in the military. He was named commander of the 5th Army during the First World War and held the post from 1914 to 1916. He was also commander of the Army Group German Crown Prince until the end of the war. With most of the German royal family, Wilhelm went into exile in the Netherlands in 1918 when the monarchy was abolished, leaving his wife and children in Germany. Wilhelm returned to Germany 5 years later after promising to stay out of politics. They were able to retain most of their wealth and residences and lived a comfortable life in Germany. By this time, Wilhelm and Cecily had separated but were on friendly terms and reunited for family events. Wilhelm did not keep his promise to stay out of politics. He met Adolf Hitler and supported him in his early days of power. He joined Stahlhelm, a German paramilitary organization, and considered running for president of Germany, but didn't after being discouraged from doing so by multiple people. Following the Night of Long Knives, in which many political figures were murdered, Wilhelm decided to stay out of politics permanently. After 1934, Wilhelm did not support Hitler. After Sicilienhof, the family home, was seized by the Soviets following the Second World War, Wilhelm moved to a small house in Hechingen, Germany, where he died of a heart attack on the 20th of July 1951 at the age of 69. He was buried at Hohenzollern Castle. Prince Eitel Friedrich of Prussia was the second son of Kaiser Wilhelm II and Augusta Viktoria of Schleswig-Holstein. He was born on the 7th of July 1883 in Potsdam. He was allegedly his father's favourite son. He lived with his family at the New Palace and was educated at the Prinzenhaus in Schleswig-Holstein, receiving military education. Until 1906, Eitel Friedrich was second in line to the German throne, after his elder brother Wilhelm. That same year, Wilhelm's first son was born, which meant Eitel Friedrich was third in the line of succession. Out of all of the Kaiser's sons, he was considered the most beautiful and was said to be charming. However, he soon developed a reputation for being a playboy, and his parents strongly encouraged him to marry. In June 1905, Eitel Friedrich met his future wife, Sophia Charlotte of Oldenburg, at the wedding of his older brother. Later that month, they met again, and they became better acquainted with one another. Eitel Friedrich's mother encouraged the relationship, as she wanted one of her sons to marry one of the Oldenburgs. The emperor also approved of the relationship. In September 1905, Eitel Friedrich travelled to Sophia Charlotte's residence and stayed there for several weeks, during which time they became engaged. There was speculation that the only reason Eitel Friedrich and Sophia Charlotte chose to get married to each other was due to pressure from Eitel Friedrich's family and Sophia Charlotte wanting to leave her childhood home. On the 27th of February 1906, Prince Eitel Friedrich and Duchess Sophia Charlotte were wed. They had no children together. In 1907, there was a proposal to elevate Alsace-Lorraine to a Grand Duchy, with Eitel Friedrich as its monarch. While the Kaiser did express some interest in this plan, nothing ever came of it. In 1901, Eitel Friedrich joined the Prussian First Foot Guards. Later on, during the First World War, he commanded the Prussian First Foot Guards. He fought on the front lines and was wounded, after which he relinquished command, but returned to duty by the end of 1914. In 1915, he was transferred to the Eastern Front. In November 1918, just before the end of the war, the Kaiser, as well as the other German monarchs, were forced to abdicate. Following the war, Eitel Friedrich engaged with monarchist circles with the intent on working towards the restoration of the monarchy. In 1921, Eitel Friedrich was found guilty of the fraudulent transfer of 370,000 marks to the banking firm Philipson, Grasser & Co. He appeared in court and explained that he was afraid the assets belonging to his family would be seized by the state, and he claimed to not know that the transfer was legal. He was fined 5,000 marks rather than being sentenced to prison. In 1926, another financial scandal broke out. Eitel Friedrich was accused of embezzling funds meant for food for the troops during the war. These allegations were printed, and Eitel Friedrich's family abandoned him. Though cleared of the charges, the damage was done. That same year, on the 20th of October 1926, Eitel Friedrich and his wife divorced, due to the scandal and his infidelity. After this, Eitel Friedrich lived a quiet life away from scandal and the public eye. When the Second World War broke out, he did not participate. He passed away on the 8th of December 1942. Prince Adalbert of Prussia was born on the 14th of July 1884 in the Marble Palace. Adalbert and his brothers lived most of their days at the prince's house, where they received a strict military education. He also spent much of his childhood at the new palace. In 1894, Adalbert entered the Imperial Navy and attended the Naval Academy in Kiel. Following this, he made several trips abroad, representing his father. Prince Adalbert met his future wife, Princess Adelheid of Saxe-Meiningen, during this time. The couple were wed on the 3rd of August 1914, at the beginning of the First World War. In September 1914, Prince Adalbert was reported to have been killed in action in Brussels, but this was just a rumour and he was unharmed. Together, the couple had 3 children, 2 daughters, both named Viktoria Marina, the first a stillborn daughter born in 1915 and the second born in 1917, and 1 son, Prince Wilhelm Victor, born in 1919. In March 1915, Prince Adalbert was promoted to captain in the Navy and major in the Army. During the war, he served in the Prussian Navy, taking command of the SMS Dresden in 1917. He also served as a major in the 1st Regiment Foot Guards. Following the end of the monarchy, Adalbert left his family in Kiel and took refuge on his yacht, before moving into a villa he purchased in Bad Homburg. Adalbert and his family often travelled to Switzerland due to Adelheid's health and eventually remained there permanently. They adopted the names Count and Countess von Lingen and remained out of politics. Prince Adalbert became a grandfather for the first time in 1945, with the birth of his granddaughter, Princess Marie of Prussia. In total, he had 5 grandchildren: Marie, Adalbert, Berengar, Marina and Donna. Prince Adalbert passed away on the 22nd of September 1948 at the age of 64. He was survived by his wife by almost 23 years. Prince August Wilhelm of Prussia was born on the 29th of January 1887 at the Potsdam City Palace. He spent much of his childhood at the New Palace and his school days in the Prinzenhaus in Plön. His father became emperor in 1888. He later studied at the University of Bonn, University of Berlin and the University of Strasbourg, receiving a doctorate in political science in 1907. Prince August Wilhelm married Princess Alexandra Victoria of Schleswig-Holstein-Stahlenberg-Glucksburg on the 22nd of October 1908. They moved into Schönhausen Palace in Berlin, but eventually moved into a villa in the Sanssouci Park given to them by the Emperor. They had only 1 child together, Prince Alexander Ferdinand, born in 1912. Their marriage was not a happy one, with rumours circulating that Prince August Wilhelm was in a long-term relationship with his assistant, Hans-Georg von Mackensen. Prince August Wilhelm and Princess Alexandra Victoria separated after the end of the First World War and divorced on the 16th of March 1920. Prince August Wilhelm won sole custody of their son and lived a reclusive life in Potsdam. During the First World War, Prince August Wilhelm was the district administrator of the district of Ruppen. Initially, many of the Allied and German leaders were in favour of Germany becoming a constitutional monarchy, with Prince August Wilhelm as the emperor or being regent for one of the crown prince's children, although this idea was quickly scrapped in favour of a republic. In the years after the war, Prince August Wilhelm joined the NSDAP, also known as the Nazi Party. He was later accepted into the SA. Prince August Wilhelm was deliberately used by the party to gain votes in elections as a member of the Hohenzollern dynasty. He retained his seat as Landtag of Prussia from April 1932 until October 1933. Alongside Hitler, Prince August Wilhelm was appointed as an election speaker. He convinced many to support Hitler. In March 1933, August Wilhelm was elected as the Nazi deputy to the German Reichstag. He held these positions until the fall of the Nazi regime. Prince August Wilhelm hoped that Hitler would allow him to become German Kaiser. However, with the passing of the Enabling Act of 1933 and the beginning of the dictatorship of the Third Reich, Prince August Wilhelm was denied access to Hitler, and after the Night of Long Knives, Prince August Wilhelm found himself without much support. In 1938, Prince August Wilhelm became a grandfather for the first time, with the birth of his grandson, Prince Stefan of Prussia. On the 30th of June 1939, Prince August Wilhelm was made an SA Obergruppenführer, the second highest rank in the SA, but after making derogatory remarks about Joseph Goebbels, he was denounced in 1942, sidelined and banned from making public speeches. In February 1945, along with Crown Princess Cecily, Prince August Wilhelm fled the Red Army to Kronborg to take refuge with his aunt, Princess Margaret. On the 8th of May 1945, Prince August Wilhelm was arrested by the US Army and imprisoned. At his denazification trial in 1948, he was sentenced to 2.5 years hard labour. However, as he had been confined in an internment camp since 1945, he was considered to have already served his sentence and was released. However, after his release, new proceedings were issued against the prince, and an arrest warrant was issued. A short time later, he became very unwell and died at a hospital in Stuttgart on the 25th of March 1949 at the age of 62. Prince Oskar of Prussia was born on the 27th of July 1888 in the Marble Palace in Potsdam, just 1 month after his father became German Emperor. Like his siblings, he grew up at the New Palace and was educated at Prinzenhaus in Plön. When he was 14, Prince Oskar fractured his collarbone after falling from horizontal bars. He later recovered from this injury. During the First World War, Prince Oskar commanded the Grenadier Regiment Koning Wilhelm I as its colonel. For his action and bravery during the attack on Virton in Belgium, Prince Oskar earned the Iron Cross, 2nd class. A month later, he led his men in a successful attack and was awarded the Iron Cross, 1st class. For the rest of 1914, Prince Oskar spent his time recovering from a heart condition as well as injuries he sustained in combat. He was later awarded the Wound Badge for his injuries. Eventually, Prince Oskar returned to duty and fought on the Eastern Front, again receiving the Wound Badge. On the 31st of July 1914, Prince Oskar married Countess Ina Marie von Bassewitz. Initially a morganatic marriage, in 1919 it was decreed to be dynastic, and in 1920 his wife was granted the title of Princess of Prussia. Together they had 4 children: Oskar, Burchard, Hriselide, and Wilhelm Karl. Their eldest son died at the beginning of the Second World War. In 1926, Prince Oskar served as the 35th Master of Knights for the Order of St. John, a favoured chivalric order of the Hohenzollerns. He served until his death. Due to the cultural purges of the Nazi regime, Prince Oskar began to harbour anti-Nazi feelings and helped to save the order from decimation. During the 1930s, Prince Oskar appears to have been complicit in helping his family attempt to return to power through the Nazi Party. However, the family fell out of favour with Hitler except for Prince August Wilhelm, and it became clear that there would be no restoration of the monarchy. On the 1st of March 1940, Prince Oskar was commissioned as the rank equivalent to a brigadier general. After the death of Prince Oskar's eldest son, as well as his nephew Wilhelm, the German people began to sympathise with the former royal family, and as a result, most of the German royals serving had their commissions cancelled. Prince Oskar's health began to decline in his later years. Eventually, he was diagnosed with stomach cancer and passed away on the 27th of January 1958, the same day as his wife's 70th birthday. He was the last surviving son of Wilhelm II. Prince Joachim of Prussia was born on the 17th of December 1890. He was the youngest son of Wilhelm II and Augusta Victoria of Schleswig-Holstein. Like his brothers, he grew up in the New Palace in Potsdam and was educated at the Prinzenhaus in Plön. On the 14th of October 1915, Prince Joachim was engaged to Princess Maria Augusta of Anhalt. They married on the 11th of March 1916, with the wedding celebrated at Bellevue Palace. Their marriage produced one son, Prince Karl Franz of Prussia, born in December 1916. During the First World War, Prince Joachim was a candidate for several European thrones. Some Republican leaders in Ireland contemplated giving the throne of an independent Ireland to Prince Joachim, similar to what Romania and Bulgaria had done in the past. The fact he spoke no English was a bonus, as they could teach him Irish and help to promote the Irish language rather than English. Prince Joachim was also briefly considered as a candidate for the Georgian throne, following the Russian Revolution of 1917 and the Lithuanian throne following Lithuania's declaration of independence on the 16th of February 1918. Ultimately, Prince Joachim was not chosen to be a king of any European country. Following the German Revolution of November 1918, Prince Joachim, like many German royals, was deprived of his titles and position. He became depressed. His marriage deteriorated, and Prince Joachim and Princess Maria Augusta were divorced after the First World War. On the 18th of July 1920, Prince Joachim shot himself, dying from his injury. His family's reaction was one of disbelief, sadness and anger. His father was outraged, while his mother was devastated and never fully recovered, passing away only 9 months later. Victoria Louise, Duchess of Brunswick, was born Princess Victoria Louise of Prussia on the 13th of September 1892 at the Marble Palace in Prussia. She was the youngest child and only daughter of Wilhelm II, German Emperor, and Augusta Victoria of Schleswig-Holstein. She was educated at home and developed a love for athletics. She became an accomplished hunter and rider. Victoria Louise met her future husband, Prince Ernst August of Hanover, in 1912, when he came to Berlin to thank the Emperor for sending 2 of his sons to the funeral of Ernst August's brother. Victoria Louise and Ernst August fell in love. However, tensions grew between Prussia and Hanover. Ernst August's father, the Duke of Cumberland, also named Ernst August, refused to relinquish his claim to the Hanoverian throne, and in retaliation the Emperor refused to allow him to succeed to the Duchy of Brunswick, for which he was the rightful heir. Finally, after negotiations, the Duke of Cumberland agreed to renounce his rights to the throne of Hanover for himself and his heirs, and ceded his rights to the Duchy of Brunswick, which allowed Ernst August to become the reigning Duke. Victoria Louise and Ernst August got married. It was one of the largest gatherings of European royalty in Germany since the establishment of the German Empire in 1871, and was one of the last large social events before the First World War. Victoria Louise and Ernst August had 5 children together: Ernst August, George Wilhelm, Friedrich, Christian Oskar, and Wolf Heinrich. Like all German monarchs in 1918, Ernst August was forced to abdicate, and the following year he lost his British title as a Prince of the United Kingdom. Victoria Louise and Ernst August lived at several of their estates. In 1945, when the Soviets expropriated their castle, Blankenburg Castle, Victoria Louise and her family were forced to flee. Under the orders of her cousin George VI of the United Kingdom, the British Army transported all their belongings to Marienburg Castle, where they lived until 1954. In 1953, Victoria's husband passed away, and in 1954, their son Ernst August turned their castle into a museum, uprooting Victoria Louise and causing a falling out between the mother and son. He also wanted her to retire quietly, but she would have none of that. He offered her several residences, but she chose to move into a home provided to her by a group called the Brunswick Circle of Friends. With the support of this group, she continued to be involved in her charitable works. Following a fall in 1980, Viktoria Luise passed away on the 11th of December 1980 at the age of 88. The last surviving child of Wilhelm II, and was buried beside her husband in front of the Royal Mausoleum in the Herrenhausen Gardens in Hanover.